Welcome, everybody. I'm Mark Harrison. I'm excited to have this conversation today with my friend. But before we find out who you are, is it true that this is the 20th anniversary of Crankworx?
This is the 20th edition of Crankworx here in Whistler.
2025. And how many of them have you been at?
Oh, wow. All but two. So I wasn't involved in 2003 or 2004, but I started as a volunteer in 2005.
There you go.
Yeah.
Love it. And who are you? Name, rank, and serial number.
I'm Darren Kinnaird. I'm the managing director of Crankworx Events Inc. We're the company that produces the Crankworx World Tour, the Crankworx Summer Series, and all the different events we produce around the world.
All right, we're going to talk about all that, but let's start with, we're here in Whistler today, and this is the 20th anniversary. And you mentioned 2003, 2004, but it's 2025. Mm-hmm. So the obvious question is, why are we only at 20?
Why are we only at 20?
Yeah.
Well, we would be at 22, but we missed a couple because of COVID.
Oh, that thing.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah. So, we missed two events here in Whistler because of COVID.
Yep.
That was where the Crankworx Summer Series was born from, of the pivot, if you will.
Yeah.
The overused word.
The overused word.
2020.
And we're not going to make this a COVID podcast, so don't worry.
No. But that's why we missed 2 years.
So let's jump to this year right now. So we're here. 2025 is the 20th anniversary. Maybe we can just take a step back for people around the world who've never been here. Where are we? What are these amazing mountains around us? And how does Crankworx bring it to life?
Yeah, so we're in Whistler, BC.
Yep.
The mountains around us are part of the Coast Mountain Range. Whistler was traditionally known for its skiing, but in the late 90s, early 2000s, mountain biking started to become a big thing here, and mountain bike trails are being developed. And a group of local tourism folks got together and said they wanted to produce a mountain bike festival that would celebrate and showcase all there is to do here in terms of mountain biking. And it has grown over the years to become the busiest 10 days of the entire year, and one of the biggest ski resorts in the world.
Amazing. And we both have our Crankworx branding on today. So
my 20th shirt.
I love it. Where'd the name came from?
Do you want the honest?
Yeah.
Story? Okay.
Yeah, I want the honest story.
So
you can lie to me for the rest of the podcast.
I'll try and make this
one
succinct.
shred of honesty. Okay.
But do you remember the TV show Saturday Night Live?
Yeah.
And there was the Sprockets thing with Mike Myers.
Yeah.
Jason Priestley was the host of Saturday Night Live one episode.
Yeah.
And they had a German dating game show on Sprockets.
Right.
And it was called Love Vucks.
Okay.
And so, and this is like 2002, 2003.
Yeah.
And so as a joke, in a meeting when they were developing what this festival would be called, Mark Skip Taylor threw out the term Crankvucks.
Yeah.
Why don't we call it Crankvucks?
If you're on back.
Oh.
Yeah. So he does that in kind of German.
Yeah. And then
is that the only word he speaks in German?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Okay.
But the name just stuck, and it's turned into this iconic thing. But that's where the name comes from.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, I'm not going to try to do it in German.
Okay.
So take us to today. What is happening at the 20th anniversary? What are some of the traditional things that your Crankworx regulars, the people, your super fans, are going to know about? And what are the new tricks and surprises for us?
Yeah. So we've brought back some of the old classics. So we had the Canadian Open Downhill that was traditionally here on the village side of things. That happened on the weekend. It's like one of the most famous races we've ever produced over the years. There was a birth of this raucous thing that would take place on the hill called Heckler's Rock. That got shut down years ago, got a little out of control, but we brought that race back without the Heckler's Rock.
Okay.
We've got some of our traditional favorite events, slopestyle, Red Bull Joyride. We've got the new Canadian Open Downhill in Creekside, a host of other events for families, kids, amateurs, professional athletes, you name it. I think some of the new things this year that we're really stoked to have this year, our expanded adaptive mountain biking program. Some unbelievable stories took place yesterday. We have the OR Outdoor Research Trick Showdown, which we've sort of modeled after the NBA Slam Dunk Contest.
Hence my new tricks thing.
Yep,
If you notice, I slid that in there.
I knew where you were going with that, yeah. And then also new this year, which is a first for North America is the Bosch EMTB Challenge. So
Right.
this is something they've done for a few years over in Europe, and they've brought it here this year. And so we're going to have this super fun e-mountain bike challenge that's going to go all over the valley, Blackcomb, Whistler, you name it, and it'll end up at the $11.99 new Canadian Open Downhill
Right.
on Friday afternoon, and rolling there to VIP view the downhill race.
Amazing. So explain for people what an e-mountain bike challenge is and how it works all over the village. And I was reading online this morning that some of the athletes, Jennifer was injured, she wanted to do it, and others, but I know it's going to be very popular. But give me more specifics.
Yeah, so it's a challenge of your riding abilities.
Okay.
You're racing against the clock.
Okay.
But it's also about like battery management, and you're showcasing the benefits of an e-bike, how far it can go, how fast it can go.
Right.
But if you burn out too quick, you're not going to have enough battery to finish the race.
For people who drive electric vehicles,
Yes.
myself included, we call it range
anxiety. Yeah.
So is that the same thing on an e-mountain
yeah,
bike?
and I think it's more like there's 3 different classifications in
Okay.
the race. There's the elite pro level, there's the advanced, which I'm going to do,
Okay.
and
Oh,
then
cool.
there's the amateur.
What number will you be so I can cheer you on?
Number 10.
All right, number
Yeah,
10.
yeah.
There, cheer on for number 10.
Yeah, I'm just hope to not come
Yeah.
dead last.
Number 10, what's going to happen? Explain to me how the race works.
Yeah, so we will learn what the course is
Okay.
on Friday morning. So
Really?
I don't even know what the course
Okay,
is.
all right.
As the managing
That's
director of Crank Course,
Good.
I don't
So
even
there's
know what the
no
course is.
competitive advantage here. We got
completely-
ourselves I was
Yeah.
going to say level playing field. Kind of hard to say that on a mountain, but anyway.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay.
But we learn the course. It's got 5 timed sections.
Okay.
Some are down.
Yeah.
Some are up.
Yeah.
Some are up and down. But yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to get ourselves into.
Fun.
But I think it's going to showcase some of the most fun trails here in the Worcester Valley.
And
So-
and a little more accessible because you're on an e-mountain.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like we'll be able to get to things quicker and faster that you just wouldn't. Like the ground we'll cover in one day will be significant compared to what you would do on a
And
acoustic bike.
how many people will be competing?
I think there's gonna be over 100.
Amazing.
Yeah, for a first time,
Yeah.
first event, we're pretty stoked.
Now you mentioned this has been going on in Europe for a few years. I mean, maybe just speculate a little bit. Kind of when you think about the role of electric mobility in bikes and scooters, and now it's even coming out in snowmobiles and all the rest of it. Where do you think this is going in your world, in the mountain world?
I think what e-bikes have done, and in particular e-mountain bikes, is they've made the mountains and the outdoors more accessible.
Okay.
Right? The broader range of people that are now continuing to mountain bike or get out in the mountains and explore. You hear about this in Europe where seniors are now taking e-bikes into the
Right.
mountains where they may traditionally hike.
Right.
They're now taking e-bikes to go further and see
Covering
more.
a lot
and do
more ground.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
So, I think the future of a lot of transportation is electric, and so it's really neat to see it, being used as a recreational tool
Right.
in mountain biking.
Yeah, I love your concept about access. But what about for those people? Some people feel that electric bikes and scooters are almost kind of small motorcycles. Do you get any of that sort of pushback?
There's a bit of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of that. But they're all regulated in terms of like the speed they're allowed to have. There's no question there's a comparison, but they don't have throttles.
Yeah.
So
And they don't make the stinky smell of it.
No, no,
that's,
exactly,
That's the best
yeah.
part.
I
You're out
mean,
in the mountain and you don't have somebody going by you.
Yeah, I mean, Specialized motto is it's you only faster.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
you
You
know,
only fast.
Yeah, I mean,
like that.
Bosch's it's the power of the bike sort of
Love
thing.
it.
So yeah.
Love it. So you talked about the e-mountain biking event. Now talk to us a little bit about adaptive and kind of what's going on, and maybe even just explain for people that don't know that term when you say adaptive. Maybe you can just start there at that kind of base level and then talk about the events and the opportunities that you have for adaptive athletes.
Yeah. So, adaptive mountain biking is for athletes that are paraplegic or they'll use a non-traditional mountain bike.
They're not an upright athlete.
Yeah,
Right.
some are.
Okay.
And there's different categories.
Yep.
We had our first ever quadriplegic athlete
Wow.
race yesterday.
Okay.
A local gentleman,
Yeah.
I believe he's 19 years old,
Yeah.
had an accident when he was 17. Last year at Crankworks, there was money raised. He was gifted his first quadriplegic mountain or cycle bike.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time last year, his goal was, I want to race in Crankworks next year.
Amazing. And he did it.
So he did it yesterday, and it was pretty moving. There was a big crew of people following him. But a big part of what makes Crankworks and has since the very beginning is this idea of inclusivity, right? When we first started doing Crankworks, we wanted amateur athletes to be able to experience what it was like to race with the pros, ride with their heroes.
Yeah.
And over the years, we've just broadened that to youth, to women, and over the last couple of years, we've started to work more closely with Whistler Adaptive Sports Program.
Amazing.
The Kootenay Adaptive Program. They work really closely with Bowhead Cycles that make a lot of the adaptive bikes.
Right.
And I think there's a real passion internally to make this happen. Like there was some guys on our trail crew that were out last night adapting the trails so that there's another adaptive race today, the technical adaptive race. This is a little more challenging.
Amazing.
A little more experience. But they were out adapting the trails last night so that the experience for the athletes would be next level. So
how many athletes are we talking right now in your different adaptive events?
I think it's around 25 to 30.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's definitely growing, and it's really exciting to see, those athletes getting to experience and be a part of Crankworks as well.
And just a quick fact here: how many total athletes or competitors do you have in Crankworks this year? I love, like, a lot of us watch maybe the Joyride, or you see a certain event, pump track, whatever. But like, what's the total?
I believe there's. I was just looking at the numbers the other day, but I think it's over 2,200 athletes.
Amazing.
Like registrants during.
Is that the biggest ever?
I think it has to be.
Yeah.
I need to go back and double check, but I think it is because we have more events happening this year than I think we've ever had. There's 4 downhill races where we've traditionally had 2 or 3. So
one thing I'd like to maybe go back to on the adaptive athletes is, much like the e-mountain bikes, maybe speculate again when you think about, you're building community, you're giving these athletes a chance, but an opportunity, but you're also kind of looking at like different aspects of future mobility and future accommodation. And so as you're putting these events on, maybe speculate where that impact's going to be in 4 or 5 years on kind of broader society, because I think, like Paralympics and other things, there's something really interesting here what you're doing, and the fact that we're raising money for bikes, and your trail crew probably 5 years ago wouldn't know how to adapt the trail for adaptive. So maybe just again, I'm asking to spitball a little bit. What do you see as this contributing to the future?
I think the word accessible, I think that's what it is. It's creating access and creating opportunity.
Yeah, I like that word.
Yeah, and I think it only goes up from here in terms of you give those athletes a platform here like Crankworks.
Yeah.
And others can see it's possible and will be inspired to potentially do that as well, right?
And I think there's something interesting about potential knock-on effects in the workplace, in other forms of recreation, education.
100%, right? I mean, Caroline Buchanan has always said, if you see it, you can be it.
Right.
And I think that's, what we're hoping to, play a small part in inspiring in the future.
And not just inspiring them, but I'm hoping you can inspire organizations who sometimes look at how do you adapt your workplace and understand that, if a massive event like Crankworks can do it, why can't my law firm?
Yeah. I mean, there's no better example of that this year, Mark, than SRAM. I don't know if you've been up to the volcano yet this year.
Not yet, but I've heard.
But they've installed a massive multi-tiered ramp
Yeah.
that allows adaptive athletes to get up onto the SRAM volcano this year. And
Yeah.
I think that's a huge commitment from, I mean, their whole team. But I mean, Jen Cancelier over at SRAM has really spearheaded that and has been a huge focus and goal of hers this year. So it's really neat to see it happen.
And just for people that have never been here to Crankworx, go online and have a look at SRAM. Their volcano is this iconic activation that's right at the base of the competitive area. One of the best
one of
places
the
to
best
watch
spots, yeah.
all the different events. And the fact that after all these years of having this iconic venue is that, and I heard this the other day from some adaptive athletes, that they involve those athletes and talk to them and what do you need? And quite frankly, to your point on See It Can Be It, when you can't get there, and I think that's the society we're all trying to create, which is regardless of your physical ability, intellectual, your gender, your race, you name it,
Yeah.
we should be able to get up to the top of the volcano.
Yeah, it's a small thing,
Yeah.
but it's a big
It's a
thing.
massive thing.
Yeah.
It's a massive thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations. I'm excited about that. So, I think you came up with the term, and even if you didn't, you can pretend that you did. That,
Oh, I totally
that the Red Bull Joyride is kind of the Super Bowl of mountain biking and all the rest of it. Crankworx has so many events, but obviously one of the big signatures with the global following is Red Bull Joyride. And I'd love for you to describe to people that have never seen it what it's all about. I know because you did this to me probably a decade ago.
Dragged you out here
I was
kicking
like,
and screaming
what
to
is
see
this
it."
thing? I wasn't screaming, but I was kicking. There was
Well,
some
when you got
sign
here.
language, yeah. But describe what Red Bull Joyride is for folks that have never seen it.
Yeah, so Red Bull Joyride is it's the biggest slopestyle event in the world. We have 12 men, 5 women competing this year. And it is athletes, they stop at the start at the top of the course, and they ride a series of massive jumps,
Incredible.
mountain bike features. They've evolved so much over the years. They've just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And they're doing their best tricks, the most variety, the most amplitude, to achieve the best score.
Yeah.
And so they get two chances each to do that. It draws 35,000 plus people to the hill here
Yeah.
in Whistler. It truly has become the Super Bowl of slopestyle. Biggest event of the year for the athletes. Biggest event of the year for us. Yeah,
It's a remarkable event. I'm actually hoping that at some point during this podcast, I don't take a swing at a fly and hit you and
Yeah,
knock
I know,
you off
right?
the chair, because that would look like a new trick onto its own. But I think was it 2 years ago that you had the addition of women athletes to
Last year was the
year.
first,
Okay, so
yeah.
this is the second year.
Yeah.
And maybe just from a physicality, a technicality, like talk to us about how much on the women's side the athletes have obviously had to transform and develop in order to tackle this course, because not at all trying to be sexist, but this is no easy feat.
No.
Like it is a tough course to
Yeah,
tackle.
I mean, I had a theory back in 2015. So
Okay.
back in 2015, we started doing equal prize money,
Yeah.
equal like shared podiums,
Which you guys-
shared opportunities.
Nobody
So-
was doing, and huge kudos to you.
Yeah.
That's a decade ago.
But our goal at that point was to, if you see it, you can be it.
Yeah.
And over the years, we've wanted to create opportunities for women
Yeah.
through Crankworx. And, I had this theory that if you gave an 8-year-old boy and an 8-year-old girl a bike and
Yep.
gymnastics lessons,
Right.
by the time they were 15,
Yeah.
they'd both be able to do the same things.
Right. Right.
So that's why I look back a decade and
Okay.
go, there was probably some
Yeah.
6, 7, 8, 9-year-old girl out there who had no idea that one day she'd be doing this.
Right.
And I think we're seeing that now.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of the competitors, a lot of the best female slopestyle athletes in the world are 18, 19, 20 years old. There's a couple of 16. There's a Canadian girl from Canada who's 16 who competed last weekend in Silver Star.
Amazing.
On the cusp, and
Yeah.
and there's a number of young women that are just knocking at the door to do this. And the progression of the women over the last couple of years. I mean, the men progressed 20 years ago,
Yeah.
and it was slow.
Yeah.
But the women are just going, pew,
So their improvement line is
Oh,
steeper
yeah, yeah.
than what you saw with male
Yeah,
athletes.
and I think they're inspiring. The women are inspiring each other.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the men have been really, helpful, coaching, getting them through the features the first time, and then, then they're it's all them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you think about the annals in the history of sport. Like at one point, the IOC didn't let women run the marathon because they thought it was bad for their reproductive systems. I love the fact that you're looking 10 years out and saying, I'm going to take two identical athletes in terms of age,
Yeah.
one identifying as a boy, one identifying as a young girl. And if I provide them the same opportunities and training and equipment, that they will both be on the same course,
Yeah.
which is great foresight. So Red Bull's obviously a big part. You made a quick note about Outdoor Research OR is doing a new event this year with Best Tricks. So talk to us about what is that all about?
Yeah, so we wanted to come up with a super fun event that would be a great Friday night, celebration,
Friday Night
party.
Lights. Yeah, I'm a football
exactly.
guy.
Yeah, Friday Night Lights.
Yeah,
there you
yeah.
go.
There we are. You got the Super Bowl, so now you got to have the Friday Night
right.
Lights.
And just wanted to take something. We've been Robin Duplicate R&D.
Yeah.
I think back to
Robin
the.
Duplicate sounds like a law firm.
That's my.
Yeah, I like it. Robin Duplicate.
That's
okay.
my
R&D,
wife's
all right.
my wife's term in marketing is Robin Duplicate.
Okay, good.
But no, I think back to like the heyday of the NBA slam dunk contest, like Michael Jordan and Dominique Wilkins
Yeah.
and Vince Carter
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Nobody out there
those-
knows who you're talking about, but keep going. Maybe
Okay, well-
people think Michael Jordan's a shoe designer.
Well,
by the way.
no, I mean, everyone knows, yeah,
Yeah, but
but-
I hear you. But Neek and
But those
Bud Webb.
those events were
Yeah.
just iconic and fun. Like the judges got involved and had fun, and so we just think that there's so many great personalities
Yep.
in slopestyle and in mountain biking, and so we think that event will just be a super fun, great activation for OR.
I love
It's
it.
gonna be a great evening.
Love it, love it. So let's maybe take a step out of Whistler and talk to us about what happens globally with Crankworx. Where do I see the Crankworx brand around the world, physically, events, different types of events? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so we started to branch out to, Crankworx started to branch out as far back as 2007.
Okay.
We were hosting events in Winter Park. But then in 2012, we expanded overseas to France.
Cool.
And so we did events in Europe for almost 15 years, 13 years. We've been in Innsbruck. We've been in a couple places in France.
Right.
We currently hold 2 different events in New Zealand. One at the Christchurch Adventure Park,
Okay.
and the big one in Crankworx Rotorua. They recently celebrated their 10th anniversary.
Amazing.
Crazy to believe
Yeah.
that. We're in Cairns, Australia.
Yeah.
The tropical, the Paradise edition of Crankworx. And we're currently looking at a bunch of different places for where we go next. But we've also in Canada got the summer series
Yep.
that takes place in Silver Star, Vernon. Also in Horseshoe in Ontario.
Yep.
And in Sugarloaf, New Brunswick.
There you go.
In Campbellton. So,
I love it.
yeah.
Horseshoe Valley. It's it's actually the first place I ever skied.
Oh, wow.
Not well. I still think there's probably like an image of my face in the snow there.
In the ground.
There's a pie plate that looks like this, unfortunately. But when you think about those different events, the different scale of those events, when a Crankworx comes to town and a Whistler, talk to us about kind of event tourism and economic impact and societal impact, because it's not just the dollars, it's also the building of community and exposure.
Yeah.
So think about those markets that you go, what's the impact? What's the ROO and ROI for those communities?
Yeah, so I mean, here in Whistler, the last time we did an economic impact study, it was over like $56 million or something like that.
Amazing.
The marketing value of a Crankworx for the resort is huge, but it's also.
Is that why you get a $50 million grant to put it on?
Yes, it's a huge grant.
Okay, that's a joke, by the way.
Yeah.
That might not have landed, but that's just a joke. Okay.
We worked very hard to raise the funds to do this event.
Yeah.
It's become such a core part of the Sea to Sky community as well.
Yeah.
I was up on the hill on Saturday at the Kids Works Enduro, and it was kind of a flashback, if you will,
Right.
because I'm standing there and there's a lot of parents,
Yeah.
dads and
Yeah.
moms
that you remember were in those events or
remember
coaching.
them at the parties.
Yeah, okay, got it. Yeah, yeah.
Like one of the dads
yeah.
was literally the guy who started Heckler's Rock.
Right, okay.
Right?
Okay.
He was the instigator.
Okay.
And now he's got kids.
Yeah.
And so his kids are racing.
I hope his
Crankworx.
kids heckle him.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
me too,
Yeah.
right? Or
Yeah.
at least one day we teach them to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was such a bizarre moment, but how this festival has become so much a part of the Sea to Sky.
Yeah.
Families from Pemberton to Squamish,
Right.
and everywhere in between, their kids are now all a part of this festival.
And is it the same sort of thing in New Zealand and Australia?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
what we've seen, in particular in New Zealand,
Right.
with the long runway that they've had to host the event, and the economic impact is big every year, to the point where during COVID, Crankworx in New Zealand was deemed an essential service.
Okay.
That's how
I love that.
impactful.
Deemed essential
Yeah,
service.
so-
That's my goal. Like, I want to be an
Yes.
essential service.
Yeah, exactly, right? But they've been doing this program there called Share the Ride for
Yeah.
the last 10 years, where, underprivileged or socioeconomically challenged families in the community, can't afford to buy a bike.
Yeah,
And
can't
so
access a bike.
Giant there donates a lot of bikes. And
Super
these
cool.
families get a chance to experience the forest in Rotorua and be a part of that. But the legacy of the event there is you're seeing families grow up with the event, kids grow up with the event, and there's quite a few kids that have come out of Rotorua now that are world-class elite athletes.
Amazing.
Getting to travel the world and compete because they had these opportunities and this access to an event like Crankworx.
And you mentioned Giant. Are there other sponsors that are specific to, say, the New Zealand event or Australia event that maybe folks in North America wouldn't know about or see, or is it? Is it highly consistent?
It's pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, our global partners, SRAM and Maxxis,
Yeah.
Red Bull, Specialized. They recognize these places as great mountain biking
Right.
destinations.
Right. So wherever you go, they go.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And any new partners here in Crankworx this year from a sponsorship standpoint?
Yeah, this year we have the opportunity to work with GMC.
Nice.
They've gotten involved. They have a massive activation here in the village with
Yeah.
climbing wall. Looks
Yeah.
like there's been a lineup of
Have you
kids.
climbed it yet?
I haven't yet,
Okay,
but
all
I
right.
will.
I got to get
You
there
and
and
I,
outfitted
let's
with that.
go
helmet.
race.
Matching helmets.
Yes,
yeah. Okay.
we'll go
there
race.
we go. Okay. My problem is I'll be okay going up. When I look down, that's when my fear of heights are going to kick in.
Just don't look down.
And I'll be whimpering like a
Just
baby.
don't
I'll
look
be
down.
hugging Darren. I'm sorry I swatted you at the podcast,
But, yeah, yeah.
Can you bring me down?
Yeah, well, I'll get you down.
Okay, good.
But
God, get me down.
GMC is involved this year, which is really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be shuttling our athletes during Red Bull Joyride.
Right.
Back up the hill, which will
Cool.
be, and it's all electric vehicles, which is
Oh, nice.
really cool.
What are they taking them up in?
I believe there's a couple of Hummers.
Nice. That's what I want.
And I forget what's the other one. I can't remember the other one,
Yeah.
but I need to know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a bunch of vehicles that are decked out for Red Bull Joyride, which
Fun.
is really exciting.
Great content opportunity, right? To
yeah.
have the athletes going up in the
Yeah.
Hummers, and
Yeah.
hopefully they're going to take advantage of all that.
No, and we have some other partners. I mean, like I said, our global partners, longstanding, but also Swatch is involved,
Nice.
which is really nice. Swatch Canada. So, yeah, there's a bunch of different partners from the industry that are specific to Whistler. We're really blessed that these brands, there's tremendous value alignment.
Yeah.
Right. This idea of Crankworx being inclusive resonates, I think, with our partners.
100%.
Yeah.
And you made the comment earlier about kind of, takes a lot to put on an event like this. Maybe take us through what are the big pillars from the business model standpoint in terms of revenue? So obviously sponsorship's one.
Yeah.
What are the other big inputs?
Sponsorship is a big one.
Yeah.
Registration for all the events
Yeah.
is significant. Our expo, so
Yeah.
all the booths that you see throughout the village is
Right.
significant. There is some government support.
Okay.
There's the Resort Municipality of Whistler
Yeah.
support. There's the Province of BC support. VIP experience, ticket
Yep.
sales, that sort of stuff. But the bulk of it comes from our sponsors and partners.
Amazing.
And yeah, we're very thankful for their support.
So look, not for a second suggesting you're old, because you don't look like you've aged a bit outside of the new scruff.
I appreciate that.
Maybe on the
there's some
inside,
gray
but
in
on the
there now.
outside, you're looking prime. But for people that are out there that are in this business, if you think about in this era where we're headed, where we're talking about AI and cloud and chat GDP and all this stuff, obviously events, human connection, the power of all that, but what would be the kind of the three things you'd say to somebody who's a prospective event curator? Like, what are the things, what's the magic? What are the things you gotta get right?
Yeah.
Whether it be, a music festival or, a marching band or a fashion show or a pop-up party or not only a massive festival here in Whistler, but with international reach. What would be kind of here's some key insights from your learnings.
I mean, passion is clearly probably, maybe the most overused term,
Right.
but it is essential.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? It's 100% essential.
Yeah.
I would say,
It's interesting your point on passion, because I would say that, passion can do two things. Passion can keep you going, and passion can have you go broke.
oh, 100%.
Right? So,
Yeah.
so there's an interesting balancing act for somebody like yourself, which is you love this stuff. Right? All the time you and I are talking, you took your son on a ride or whatever,
Yeah.
but also you got to have professionalism to that passion, right?
Yeah. Professionalism on top of that. I would say curiosity,
Okay.
to
Love that.
explore new opportunities,
Yeah.
new things, like new ways of looking at things.
Yeah.
And I think that's been something that, I've challenged myself to do, and
Right.
challenged our team to do, is look at things a different way.
Yeah, because in the event world, you don't want to be yesterday's news.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
You want to adapt and explore and being curious about how others do things or how things can be done, I think is really important.
Smart.
And then lastly, I think if I was to give if you're going to put on an event, you're going to be a leader.
Yeah.
Right. And I think a leadership quality that I try and focus on is empathy.
Okay. Expand on that.
Well, understanding, everyone has a motivation for why they're trying to do something here this week.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
They're not
There's-
making decisions that are malicious. They're making it in what they think is the best.
no,
Yeah.
and there's hundreds, if not thousands of people here
Right.
trying to achieve something
Yeah.
this week, whether it's to win a race, sign up the most people to their database,
Right.
whatever it is, right? But having empathy for what someone's motivation is. This also can go back to curiosity. It's
Yeah.
like, what is their motivation for
Right.
being here?
Right.
And if you can take a step back
Yeah.
and put yourself in that person's shoes,
Yeah.
what are they trying to achieve?
Okay.
And so I think if you can do that,
Yeah.
you can help them do it, which will lead to your success.
Got it.
So,
All right. So
There's
on
my
that,
three.
I want you to pick. You can be one of these four people.
okay.
As the leader of Crankworks, are you the mayor? Are you the sheriff? Are you the town doctor? Or are you the preacher? I'm building off of empathy.
Yeah, I would probably be the town doctor,
Okay.
but an empathetic town doctor.
All right. With a
Right.
good bedside manner.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that you were talking earlier about the kids that you used to see at the parties. Now their kids are competing in your events. Since you're the town doctor, you delivered those babies. You had a role in the creation of those babies, and so
Probably in more ways than I'd like to know.
More ways, but I think in the world of business, there's nothing better than growing your own future customers and clients. So procreate, recreate. That should be on a T-shirt
I like
somewhere.
that.
There we go.
Oh,
All right.
I like that.
Okay. Well, thanks very much.
Crankworks, procreate and recreate.
Yeah, there we go.
The new
All
motto.
right. It only took us 33 minutes, and we just went over. We didn't even hedge on the PG. We just went right off the cliff. So
That's perfect.
All right.
I love it.
Well, thank you, sir. Congratulations
you.
on 20.
Thank you very much, Mark. Cheers.